Okay, part two, I need to adjust my dimensions to make sure my garage is the correct size. In the instructions, I say that your dimensions are from the face of core, and we covered in class what core means. So to dimension, I go to the Annotate tab up at the top, and then the dimension tool that I'm going to use is the Aligned Dimension tool. So I click on that. And then the setting that I need to change here, this thing defaults to dimension to wall center lines, which we discussed in class is not a great way to do things. So what we want instead is face of core. So I click the drop down there in the options bar and I pick faces of core. And now I'm going to dimension from this exterior face of core there to the exterior face of core there. And then I need to click a third time to make that dimension hold still. Let me zoom in a little bit on it. And obviously that is not the dimension that we're after. We want that dimension to be 24 feet even from exterior face of core to face of core. So I click escape twice to get out of that dimension command. And then I need to choose if I want to move the right hand wall or the left hand wall. One of them needs to move outward so that our garage can get wider and become our 24-foot dimension. And I think I'm going to move my right hand wall, so it's your choice. So I click on the wall and then I'm able to edit the dimension here and make that 24. I just have to type in 24, enter, and there you go. Now you've got a 24-foot wide garage. Let me back up and show you one thing that can go wrong. So I hit the undo button up here on my shortcuts bar. So you can't simply click on this dimension to edit it. The reason why, let me close that, the reason why is that it does not know, Revit does not know if I want to move my left-hand wall or my right-hand wall. One of them needs to move, but it doesn't know which one. You've got to choose. So when I just click or double-click on this, it does not work that way. So Revit will not let you cheat on dimensions. I can add all sorts of text above, below, and beside my dimensions, but I cannot change the dimension here. So you really have to select one wall or the other, and then select the dimension, make it what you want it to be, click enter, and there you go. I want to do that same thing going north-south, so let me zoom out some, and then I will grab my dimension tool again. It's still set to face of core, so that's good. Now I'm just going from my north wall face, my south wall face, put that guy out here, make him hold still, and I'm closer on that dimension. That wants to be 26, I believe. Check the assignment. Yeah, 26. And so what I need to do is move this south wall. So I'm going to move that, make that 26 even. There you go. I've got an interior dimension that happens here of 5'6". So let me put that one in. So this face of core to that face of core. And again, I'm pretty close, but not right. So I click on the wall that I want to move, and I change that to 5'6". This time it has inches, so I need to put a space between the 5 and the 6. Revit knows that I mean feet and inches. Click enter. And then the next part is a little trickier. For this one, I want to use the same aligned dimension tool, but I'm going to dimension the entire north wall and its intersecting walls all in one operation. So I click on the aligned dimension tool here. It's still set to face of core, which is fine, but then next to it, it's got individual references, which is what we've been doing. I want to dimension the entire wall and its intersecting walls. So I click the drop down there, and I click entire walls, and then that options button next to it became available as soon as I clicked that. And so I click on options, and the option that I want here is intersecting walls. So I check that box and I click OK. And now what's going to happen, if I click on this north wall and then move my cursor out a little bit, notice all the dimensions that I get there. So I've got that entire string that I need. So I'm going to click to make that hold still. And then I'm going to spread some things out just so that I've got some airspace here so that I can see what's going on because things get a little bit close. And there you go. So now I can see all of my dimensions that are in that string. Several of them are right. The wall dimensions, I can't change those without going to the wall type to edit it. So those are already correct. So let me click escape twice to get out of this dimension tool. And let's edit this first one. So that room needs to be 14 feet and it's only 13 feet 8 3/8 inches. So I need to move this wall to make that room the correct size. So notice what happened when I click on that wall to select it. These three dimensions turn blue as if I can edit any of those three. So I'm going to pick on the one that I want to change from 13.8 to 14. So I just type in 14, enter, and now that room is the correct size, 5'6" by 14. The next one is this little closet, supposed to be 2'1", so I need to move this wall to the right and make that a little bit smaller. So I click on that wall, click on the dimension, 2'1", enter, and there you go. And because we had our correct 24-foot dimension to start with, the 6'5" is automatically correct. So that's dimensioning in a nutshell. On the next one, we will place doors. Be right back.